morning to all the viewers. And clearly, if you see in terms of the markets, we are seeing some bit of consolidation and we are below the 18,600 level already. Overall, in terms of bank nifty as well, no major moves coming in there. And we have the earnings season, which is over, so there is some bit of lacklusterness in the markets. Joining us to discuss stock specific action and what one should do is Lancelot Cunha, CIO at ValueX Wealth Connect, joining in. Lancelot, good morning and welcome to the
Good
show.
morning. Good morning.
Lancelot, let's start off with Apollo Hospitals. The stock did see good momentum in today's day of trade, and clearly the occupancies have improved in the fourth quarter. They're planning to add around 2,000 beds by FY27, and the customer acquisition cost has jumped as well for the company. What would your view be, and what would you recommend an investor to do?
So I think yes, Apollo Hospitals, did come out with good numbers. We are also seeing that the pharmacy business is showing good traction. They have added, almost 1,000 stores in FY23, and they're expected to add another 500 to 800 stores in this financial year. So even if you look at the breakdown of the revenues, you can see that specialty procedures revenues is improving, and that is going to help aid the margins. So I think over the next couple of years, we would see maybe a 30 to 40% growth in revenues. But at the moment, the stock has already run up quite a bit, since the results as well as just prior to results. So maybe it's a good time to wait for a while and then look at accumulating the stock. But because over the next 2, 3 years, one will see good value addition to the company.
Right, so good value addition coming in with regards to Apollo. Another stock that has been in focus from the pharma pack is a Divi Laboratories. That stock is also seeing some great amount of momentum as well in the last few weeks. What's your view?
Yes, I think Divi's Laboratories actually also came out with good earnings, and the management has given, earnings guidance growth of about 17% in terms of revenue for the next, financial year. So that is a very positive sign. However, again, the stock has moved up and it trades at probably around, 29 times its uh, earnings, which is fairly valued. And we also need to watch out for the margins going forward, because margins could surprise negatively on the upside, and then that could result in a bit of re-rating for the stock. So that needs to be factored in. But one can look at looking at this accumulating this stock in little larger declines.
Okay. So that's with regards to where DBS Laboratories goes. Moving on, your Asian Paints that is in focus. In fact, 3 consecutive sessions that we're seeing good gains. And it's not only Asian Paints, but other paint companies as well. And this is mainly on the way crude prices have been panning out. We are below the $60 per barrel mark already. How do you look at both the, Asian Paints? And from a valuation perspective, do you think it's a good bet as well?
So I think from a valuation perspective, Asian Paints does offer a good value even at this price. And mainly, while Asian Paints is focused on the paint markets, it has also diversified in the home decor market, in the waterproofing market. So in terms of waterproofing solutions, they were the number one, party to do waterproofing solutions. They've reached number one position. So I think there's a lot of innovation in the company that is bringing out, with the home decor segment, most of the margins are going up. You're seeing good growth on both the segments, whether it's home decor or even on the paint segment. And with raw material prices expect to remain a little soft, we saw around 11% decline in raw material costs in the last quarter, when we can see that these prices will remain stable. So margins will be around 18 to 20%. So I think one can see maybe a 50% growth, between 40 to 50% growth in revenues by end of FY25.
Hmm.
And with the margin flat at this level, I think it's a good opportunity to accumulate this stock.
Right, so that's with regards to where paint companies go. Lancelot, we have the auto sales numbers that have started to trickle in from today's day of trade. How are you looking at the auto companies and a Bajaj Auto already?
So I think Bajaj Auto surprised in terms of May sales. I think they did 3.55 lakhs,
Hmm.
two-wheelers as compared to 275 for the last year. So that is a very positive sign. And even the exports have improved in this particular month. And I think the management in the recent call had indicated that they expect growth to come in both on the domestic as well as on the international sales. So, given that, even though there is a possibility that they may face some competition due to the
Hmm.
EV segment, I think they've been able to maintain their margins, and it presently trades at around 21 times its earnings. So, which is a bit muted for a company which can have significant growth like Bajaj Auto. So, even this is a good company to be accumulated at even these levels.
It's a good accumulation strategy coming in there for Bajaj Auto as well. Moving on, one of the PSUs, which is Coal India, is in focus. One, on the back of the price hike that they took. And secondly, now the government is offloading a 3% stake in Coal India. Overall, in terms of 4,000 odd crores is what they're looking to garner. 225 rupees per share is the floor price. The stock is down almost 4.5-5% in trade. What would you advise an investor to do?
So I think the stock is down more because of the OFS that is being offered, and with additional liquidity that is coming into the market, you will see some amount of weakness in the price on a short-term basis. But if you have already invested in it, I think one should just wait for a while, and we are seeing improving realizations both on the coal front as well as on the coal dispatches. Numbers have improved, and at some point in time when the stock gets re-rated, one can look at exiting, because from a long-term perspective, being a commodity company, though they are the largest, virtually a monopoly in the coal segment in India, there is a lot of competition coming in from cheaper imports, and then again people for the environment are trying to move away dependence from coal. So from a longer term perspective, one should try to reduce exposure here, and you know keep reducing exposure over a period of time.
Okay, so that's with regards to Coal India. Moving on, if you see in terms of Kotak Mahindra Bank, now that was a stock that was supporting markets over the last couple of trading sessions, and today it's actually under pressure. How are you looking at a Kotak Mahindra Bank?
So I think Kotak Mahindra Bank offers good value. One is because if you look at the bank's performance, it has grown significantly over the last 3-4 years,
Hmm.
and it has yet maintained fairly good NPA levels. Despite that, the stock price or the market cap hasn't really moved up significantly in line with the rest of the market. So I think this offers an opportunity to accumulate and build a longer term position, because at some point in time there will be some value unlocking, possibly in maybe their separate listing of the insurance subsidiary or any other subsidiaries, and that could give a positive event for the bank.
Right. Another bank that's in focus is a South Indian bank in terms of where change of guard goes. In fact, the bank has said that they've finalized the names of the candidates for the post of managing director and CEO post the exit of MD and CEO, Mr. Murli Ramakrishnan. Uh, the stock is seeing some smart gains in today's session. What would you advise an investor to do with the South Indian Bank?
So, with many of the PSU or even this private sector banks, whenever there's a change in the CEO or there's a change in guard,
Hmm.
there's always this expectation that gets built up, that something new is going to happen, more exciting times are in. And it is difficult because in the banking space, the smaller banks are going to face problems, especially in rising interest rate scenario. So when you're seeing the cost of deposits go up, net interest margins are going to get compressed. So it's going to be a little difficult for companies to be able to, at least smaller banks, to be able to sustain in the face of competition from the larger banks who have
Hmm.
much lower CASA cost. So I would think that if one gets an opportunity, one should look at exiting this stock at this particular levels, because the larger banks are going to dominate
Excuse
going
me.
forward.
Right. Lancelot, apart from that, you have the real estate space that has been in focus as well. One stock that is there is a Sobha. Today, we are seeing some smart moves in terms of Sobha overall. And the momentum is just picked up, say, in the last couple of months, because if you see a 6 month or a YTD performance, the stock has been slightly on a downward trajectory. How are you looking at a Sobha, taking into consideration the way Q4 earnings have panned out? Because the numbers have been pretty strong. Analysts are also seeing a great upside potential.
Yes, I think I agree. I think there is good upside potential in Sobha because again, that stock hasn't really participated in the rally so far, and yet financials have really have improved over the last quarter as well as going forward. You're seeing a lot more demand traction. And what Sobha has done is it has looked at trying to focus on premium projects because premium projects are where the margins are higher and people are closing more deals in the premium project side. So I would think that definitely this can be an opportunity if one has to look at accumulating real estate exposure in your portfolio, then this does give you an opportunity to add uh, Shobha to the portfolio.
Right. So that's with regards to where Sobha goes. Thank you, Lancelot, so much for discussing these stocks with us. A lot of movers and shakers, but a slightly slow day in trade is what we are witnessing. Earning season is over. So I think it's probably the fatigue that is creeping in so far. Thank you. Stay safe and speak to you
Thank
soon
you.
again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.